and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, we are missing Jason Hall. All of the trustees are here. The agenda is dated June 16th. It should be dated June 18th. And I would like to add to the board meeting agenda. Let me just get my note here. We would like to have comments from Sarah Dallas from Southern Adirondack Library System. We'll have that right after the secretary report. Okay, we had that. And then okay, after new business, which is the second page of the agenda, down after new business, we would like to allow Rosemary Gardner for some comment. So just before public comment. Any other questions or changes to the agenda? I will accept a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll move.
So move. Second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, we have an agenda. The last meeting of the board was on the 21st of May. So the meeting minutes, everyone received them by email. They're also posted on our website. Are there any changes, corrections, additions, or whatever to our meeting minutes?
Nothing from me.
Okay, anybody? No? We're good? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I so move.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next item on our agenda is the president's report. That's me. Okay, I got several things. First of all, I want to report on the audit. Gramalia and Company, the audit firm that we have scheduled to do our audit, can appear here either in July or August meeting to provide the results of the operational audit. You'll recall that we switched in our last meeting from a financial audit to an operational audit. And so my thing is, depending on how the July agenda shapes up in terms of the number of business, we will either have them appear in July or August. Okay, so that's the report from an audit standpoint. Second item from my perspective is the budget workshop. Regular attendees have been at the budget workshop, myself, Maggie, Rosemary, and Marion. Since the last meeting, the group met again and are scheduled for another meeting this Thursday. So we're meeting again on Thursday the 30th. These are open meetings. People are welcome to be here and attend. We do not entertain comments from the public at those workshop meetings.
Thursday's the 20th.
The 20th, correct, the 20th. So the goal is to have a budget proposal in place for the organizational meeting that later on we're going to talk about. We hope to have first thing in July. Next item for my report is I have agreed to report on any discussions I've had with our attorney. We recently had a phone session, and I have a number of things that I'd like to report on as part of my report. And then there's some things that are going to happen later on in terms of new business that we'll go over. First of all, there are a number of items that must occur at our organizational meeting in July, and I'll discuss those under new business. We likely will call, and we'll see if the board agrees, a special meeting for organizational purposes, first thing in July, and then we'll revert to our regular meeting schedule. Second item in the discussion with Robert was that Claire can be permanently appointed in advance of any letter that spells out the terms and so on, like we have for Marion. It's not a requirement to have that sort of thing. And he suggested that we handle the positions in an employee handbook. And I want to say that we actually have an employee handbook. I don't know if everybody is familiar with this, but I found it in the archives. And I think it needs a little work to get it up to snuff, but that will be where we will work on those
Do you know what it's
terms.
dated?
There's no date, there's
Mhm.
nothing here that I can help you with. It's just a plain piece of paper.
I can
Have
tell you
you
that
ever
it's at
seen
least
that?
4 years
No.
old because I received.
It's-
one when
it's-
I
it's pretty
retired as
old.
clerk in
Yeah,
2020.
so I'm suggesting that what we'll do is review this and update it. And then in the organizational meeting, I will be proposing a personnel committee that will handle that particular task, okay?
The task of updating the,
Updating this employee's handbook, okay? Secondly, Robert made it very clear to me, and this has been a question all along, that the treasurer, Tammy, who is our treasurer with the Lorenzo Associates, must be the signatory to any checks that are issued. We could allow for a second signature of a board member, but it is not necessary or required. This question and others of a financial nature, I'm hoping to be taken up again by the finance committee that I will be appointing at the organizational meeting. Next item is surplus funds. Most people are aware, we have some $200 and some $1,000 in surplus funds that are invested now at this point. And they can be used to augment the operating budget or for special capital or maintenance projects. We have not, as a board, ever designated any reserves for these purposes. But again, I'm thinking that's a good task for the finance committee. Number next is, it's clear that we as a library may not have a regular, so-called regular credit card. There are a number of libraries that do have credit cards. We've done a little research. We've had some input from the Regions people, but they may, and I'm emphasizing this, may be breaking the law. It's not clear the type of credit card they have. And if it's a regular credit card, it's not allowed by the Constitution. Robert was very clear on that when we had the
when you say
conversation.
regular, you mean like a commercial?
Like a commercial type credit card where you carry a balance and so on. We will look into the alternatives that are allowed, and Robert had suggested a purchasing card, which is a type of credit card which you pay off every month. So you're never carrying a debt. And that's the reason that credit cards are not allowed. Or there's something called a P card.
P card is
P card.
purchasing card?
Yeah, P card or purchasing card. So again, I think we've got a few tasks for our finance committee to look at. And the last thing is, while it isn't required, it would be a good policy to have any policies that we propose reviewed by our attorney before we officially adopt them. The example is the current financial policy on investments. He has it. I have not received back a final review of that. So I don't think under our new business, we're going to be able to adopt that policy tonight until we hear from him. Okay. Okay, last two things. I want to thank Jason Hall, who's not here, for his service on the board, and Rosemary Gardner, who has helped me immensely in beginning to understand and do things with respect to finances. Thank you very much, Rosemary, for your service. And finally, welcoming our new members to the board. We have Colin Hagedorn and we have Janice Waterhouse. And you will
Not yet.
be officially, well,
She thought you thought you were announcing them today.
no.
Very soon. Just welcome.
You will be, you will be officially sworn in at the organizational meeting, and we'll talk about that organizational meeting when we get into new business. So that's what I have for the report from my perspective. Second item on the agenda is a VP Finance report.
Okey-dokey. Other than the expenses, there's just one thing I wanted to mention, and that was, I can't remember if this was conversation I had with everyone or just Ted, but I was interested in contacting our school district because our allotment check did not come to us until mid to late January last year. And so I wanted to contact them to see if there was a possibility of them directly depositing that allotment, so that we would have it sooner and so that it could be earning interest for us a little bit sooner as well. I was able to find out that they don't do direct deposits, but they will mail it or bring it, our choice, directly to the library for you to deposit, Marion. Last year, it seems, she explained to me that they forwarded it to, she used the word auditor, but she meant treasurer, because the library was closed. And that's the reason it came a little bit later, but I wasn't sure whether that was happening every year or just last year. So that's the long story. The short story is that next time we can get it more quickly directly here and then deposit it, and that's good. Okay, so the sheet you all have in front of you for the expenses, and making clear again, this isn't always done. We've been sharing with the community every single bill here in the name of transparency in light of what we've been through. It doesn't necessarily have to be done this way all the time, but since I've done it this way every time, we're going to do it this way one more. So on the lengthy list this time, we are starting with a checking account balance of $271,670.61. And the expenses listed here include Spectrum for June at $359. DiLorenzo, our bookkeeping, that's for May bookkeeping in June. QuickBooks is $307.50. NYSIF, which is our disability insurance, this time is $193.82. The Chronicle was a legal notice that was for the bidding, for putting things out to bids, at $132. Electronic office product, that's the monthly rental for our copier, is $105.90. World Archives, that's the newspaper archives that the board approved last time, at $714. That's going to be a wonderful addition to the library.
That's in here.
So that's an annual?
Yeah, that's going to just be wonderful to have here. WB Mason, which is a paper supplier, that was for tissue, $47.69. North Country Janitorial, our monthly fee with them for the rugs, $30.95. Midwest Tape, which is Hoopla, $81.99. You'll see a couple of things, there are a couple of things listed here that won't necessarily be listed here once we have a working budget for our manager. They're coming through here now because she doesn't have another way to pay for them yet. The Animal Adventure Author LLC, which is a program, that's the otter one, right, Marion? Is that the otter?
No, it's the raccoons that are
Oh, the
whitewater rafting. on
Okay,
nothing.
yeah, that'll be fun. So that's a program, $655. Waterhouse Heating Oils, our monthly budget plan, which is $496. I did have a conversation with him. And we can save a little bit by paying it in full, but I don't think it's going to offset what we'll make in interest by keeping that money in our account and paying it monthly. So I would suggest we continue with the monthly budget plan at this point. Demco Creative, Demco is a supplies, those are supplies that Marion has ordered for programming and for, actually those were a lot of bookshelf dividers and such there. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's okay. So $896.76. Then we have 3 invoices for Creative Product Source. Those were supplies at $395, $245, and $300. Sal's our monthly fee there, $308.34. And another Sal's expense for trainings. Those were for harassment trainings and for sexual harassment trainings that we did at $103.68. Green Acres is our monthly fee for the yard maintenance, $325. Our postal box rent is due again, that's $154, that's for the year. And then we have 3 subscriptions listed below that. Again, here, because there's not yet a plan in place for the manager. So they, Car and Driver, Adirondack Life, and Adirondack Explorer at $39.97, $51.95, and $10 respectively, for a total of $5,953.55 for this time.
Okay. Any questions? We need a motion to approve these expenses so they can be paid.
I'll move.
So moved. Any second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, very good. Thank you. Anything else?
Nothing
You
else
good?
for me. No, that's good.
You're good. Okay. Secretary's report.
I have a very short report. I did have some correspondence.
Okay.
I had two correspondence from our focus groups, after we had focus groups, which is part of the strategic planning. I had a few emails from people just thanking us for the groups and saying it was good conversation. I also got an invitation from the Fourth Lake community to visit them and talk to them about, the library. They would ideally like it if a board member and a library staff member could come, but their meetings are at 8 or 8:30. So right now, it doesn't seem feasible that a staff person can come. But I'll contact them and see if we can set something up to have a board member go.
Okay,
And that's it.
that's it. Okay. All right. We adopted or amended the agenda to ask Sarah if you had some comments and updates on the South situation.
Sure, I'll start with, you're gonna save money next year.
That's good.
Your,
We like that.
your joint automation fees, I think, I know. Currently, it's $308.34 a month in 2024. Hold on, $306.64.
Wow. you
We're
take
gonna
all that,
invest
buy
that,
yourself a
yeah.
cup of coffee, a cup of.
Whitehall is going up $5.
I was hoping we
You're
could-
going down, so
So
that's
we
pretty
could skip a
exciting.
drink on that, but I
And
guess,
this would start January 1st. In case
Great.
you
okay,
would like that.
Wonderful.
take note of that for our budget committee.
I brought a copy of the Sal strategic plan, just as it's pretty. It's got pictures.
I have that.
You have that, but I can give it to you to add to the minutes. But I just wanted to say that the Sal's budget is a little bit larger than yours. And when we were figuring out what services we were gonna provide to our community, and our community, our libraries in our 4 counties, we felt that our core services would be the Joint Automation Polaris. That's your computer, that's your catalog, that's your circulation system, and it's also your network and your wireless and all of that good stuff. The other thing is you all are so generous in lending your books to other libraries in the Sal's region and Mohawk Valley region that we provide delivery service. And that's a big chunk of our budget. The third thing we heard from our members that they wanted support from the Sal's consultants. And I know I've spoken to many of the board members, and Marion, I know you're talking to many of the Sal's staff, and you've talked to the Sal's staff too. So that's what we're there, and that's why we have that money in it. And the other thing was collaboration with our cousins, the Mohawk Valley Library System, and that's the 4 counties that make up our 8 regional libraries. So I'll leave this with you, and it just tells you that our vision is working with you, the libraries, to provide exceptional services to support thriving, resilient communities in Hamilton, Saratoga, Warren, and Washington counties. So I think we have a shared vision. Ours might be maybe a little larger, but it's the same vision. So we're working together.
Wonderful.
I'll take these for the minutes. Thank you.
I'd like to remind you all that there is a,
Sarah, can Ted have a copy of this too?
No, I've got a couple.
Oh, you have a copy? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were.
do you want to, I have.
I already have them.
The other thing is that trustee training, it's mandatory 2 hours of trustee training for trustees. Sorry. Or, wow, what an interesting opportunity. You can do it in a variety of ways, going to a workshop, or we have a lot of things online that you can do at your own pace in the comfort of your own home. And somehow or other, your hours need to be reported so that you can put it into the annual report at the end of the year. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just interject here. I am, as president, responsible to make sure everyone gets their training. And so I have a spreadsheet where I'm keeping track. So we have
So
that
could
for
be
our
included.
records. Yeah.
Terrific. And then I think we had a meeting together and that would count
As the 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yes.
For the people, the trustees.
And
that
it's
were
2
there.
hours every year, right?
2 hours every.
Yeah, the question, just to butt in again, is it fiscal year or chronological year?
Calendar year.
What's the,
Well, your calendar year is a little different. You're what, July to?
July
July
1st, yes, to June
July
30th,
to June.
So I would say do it in that.
fiscal year.
The
That's
fiscal
a
year.
fiscal year, yeah.
All right, so we will look for the 2 hours of training, general information and so on, and the 1 hour of harassment training within the fiscal year.
Within, yeah,
Yeah, but
Within the
it
fiscal.
needs, but you'll be submitting the annual report in December.
Right.
So if you could do it in the calendar year, it would be a lot easier.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes more sense to do it in the calendar year so that it can be reported in the.
In the annual audit, okay, all
It gives
right.
people more time to do it than to do it from the fiscal, beginning of fiscal
Got
year,
it.
July
So-
1 till December.
and Sarah, I'm sorry, there's a couple of mandatory trainings we have to do, harassment trainings. Are those part of the 2 hours or those are in
No.
addition?
That's
And,
it.
and some of us, like I work for the state, so I'm doing a lot of those trainings elsewhere and
As
I can
long
just,
as
as
you-
long as I document it.
As long as you've done it.
Okay,
All right,
And,
So-
this module is better than the one from last year. It goes faster.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
why. but
I've
it's-
taken them several times. It was definitely better this year.
Right? I thought so.
so we should look at January 2024 to December. 2024.
Right.
Okay, that's the requirement then for this year. Okay,
As far as we're required to do 2 hours of continued education kind of stuff, the sexual harassment, is that legally required or is that
Yes.
optional?
That's a state requirement.
state requirement.
It's different than the library commissioners regulations, saying 2 hours of trustee training. That's mandatory for employers. So
Okay.
all employers and trustees would recommend
Okay,
to,
well, we have till the end of this year, 2024,
just give it a.
to finish those up, right? So no problem.
Yeah, the harassment training covers sexual harassment. It's all one.
It's all
big
one thing,
bubble. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but
not
it's,
two separate trainings, it's one.
Okay,
but that's a good question, Josh.
okay.
You were talking about you have $70,000 and I remember you might need to do some installation. The state construction grant cycle has started. The portal is open. We'd be happy to work with you or whomever
Okay.
is told to do it. We get about $1.2 million to share among all of the libraries in the South region for what but it could be up to 75 state money and 25 your money. I don't think you're gonna qualify for the 90-10, but we can try.
75-25, okay. And where do we get the information?
They haven't been made available yet, right?
Yes, we
Okay.
have. Yes, I've seen the email, but I haven't done anything with it because we've been talking in budget talks about, what we're gonna allocate and what we're gonna do. And there's been some questions about, do we need insulation or do we need to have it investigated? Because we don't know
No, I
what
get
really happened.
I get
Yeah,
it. So, but I just wanted to let you know that they're due at SALS on August 31st. The SALS board will review them at their September meeting and make those recommendations to the state as to what is fundable and how much to divvy up the money.
Mary, remember to bring that up in the next budget workshop meeting.
Okay, would you like me to forward the email? to
Yes,
you?
please.
Yeah, that'd be great.
The other thing I wanted to say about it is that you can't start the project until after July 1st of this year, 2024. But it takes almost a year for the state to tell you whether or not you got the grant. So but you still have to apply for it now, but you have 4 years to finish it. 4 years to finish it.
All right, well,
I want to thank you all for being wonderful advocates for libraries and library services. And I want to officially tell you, I'm so proud to see everybody here and having the lights on and the doors open, and kudos and welcome to the director family. And then the last thing I wanted to say is that you're looking at your employee handbook. What I highly recommend, because you belong to SALS and we belong to NICON, New York Council of Nonprofits, they have an expert, HR expert. And if you give them your skeleton of your handbook, they have HR professionals who are up to date on the law and regulations and all of that good stuff. So I can have Colleen send you the contact information
That would be awesome. That
on
would be great.
Yeah,
Thursday, if that's okay.
okay.
And do you have questions of me?
Okay, we're good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank
But
you
that
for
might
coming.
change in a few minutes.
Okay, okay. Okay, next
Thank
up.
you, and thank you for
Yes, thank
coming to visit with us tonight. I appreciate it.
It's nice to meet you face to face instead of just doing.
My little square?
Right. Next item is our manager's report. We
Okay,
have a copy here, right?
yes, everyone has a copy.
We do.
And there's subsequent sheets that you can refer to of different items in my report. News and updates. Excited to announce that we have a local author section in the main lobby that's already starting to get a little bit of attention. We have added, we already talked about, we ordered them dividers for adult fiction, adult nonfiction, and children's nonfiction. They are very subtle, but yet they're very eye-catching, and it is making it much easier to find books and to put books away. So a very nice investment. We're very pleased with that. We had to close on this last Tuesday because Claire was not able to make it in due to car trouble. So we took advantage of that time, and I got much of, I'm gonna say probably 80% of the crafting supplies upstairs organized. And because of that, I now have some take and make crafts out for patrons to take their little hodgepodge, but there's some crafts there that they can take. And Claire wanted to make up her hours, so she stayed late on Saturday and got quite a bit of stuff brought upstairs from the basement that needed to be cleared out. And she was also, she managed to put a couple of more shelves together, which I'm not quite sure how she did that, but they are interesting. I'm also very excited that between Friday and Saturday, I was able to put a book order in. There's a couple of more that, because I have to break the orders up by collection. That Jill had a question on, and she's on vacation, I think, till tomorrow. So those should be ordered by the end of the week. I don't know how long it takes them to come in, but they're ordered, so I chewed up the balance on this year's budget. So, and then we got the shelves. Okay, and then you guys will have some attached paperwork. One of the things I'd like to talk about, if not tonight, maybe at a future board meeting, is recognizing all of the federal holidays as days the libraries are closed. I know there are 11, 5 of which fall on a Monday, so we're closed anyways. And we seem to recognize all of them except Juneteenth and I think Columbus Day, which is on a Monday anyways, but just something to talk about. And the other item, I guess I will wait because that's under old business. Is that correct, Ted?
Yes.
Okay, expenditures this month, I had postage, and that was to mail a FOIL request. We had some cookies for our grand reopening. Ordered some stuff, some supplies from Staples, and then I know that my petty cash is not that large, but we voted last month to move money into there so I could order the shelves that we're having so much fun putting together. And then underneath that are the change door deposits that were made since the last board meeting. 850, 2505, 3796, and 3080. Statistics. We've had over 585 patrons, still remains very slow after 6 o'clock. We've had 7 programs, 765 checkouts and renewals, and I'm kind of excited. We're up to 204 followers on our Facebook page, so please keep sharing it, keep liking it, and we'll keep it moving up there, and hopefully we can push the other one into the abyss. Donations, I have made a phone call, I'm waiting for a phone call back. The Historical Society wants to donate informational plaques to hang for our historical signs, just giving a little bit of history. As far as personnel goes, that's also, you want me to hold off on that?
Is it a new
Just
business?
about, yeah, it's under new business. I do have a job description in your pile. I'm working with Erica as well as civil service to make sure we have the correct titles and the proper ad and all that fun stuff. Farm to Library still remains very popular. Currently story time is every Saturday at 11:30, but I'm considering changing the time because I'm not getting a lot of people coming, so that may not be the best time, possibly doing a poll on Facebook to just see what's a good time. The book club continues to meet the second Thursday, the crafting club first and third. On May 31st, we had Danger the Dino Wrangler here. He was a huge hit. We had 21 in attendance, and I've had patrons come in and say, I'm so sorry we missed it. So we might get Danger to come back this summer. Coming all the way from New Zealand after all. So, you know, we have to give them a heads up. This coming Thursday, we have a nurse from Glens Falls Hospital that'll be here from 11:30 to 1:30. That's during our prime time for Farm to Library, and she will have information and be able to answer questions for pre-cancer screenings for colon cancer, breast cancer, and cervical cancer. This Saturday, Andrew Chirino, a local artist, is going to be teaching children how to paint landscapes at 11 o'clock, I think. Whitewater rafting raccoons on the Hudson on June 29th. That's going to be my big kickoff for the summer. And
What's that?
what's that? You're going to have to come and see that.
I mean, I got raccoons going down the Hudson.
Yeah, they're going to whitewater raft around the Hudson, and we have a story and a craft that day, and then we have the Lake Luzerne Lake Association. They sponsor a program called Libraries Love Lakes, and they'll be here on July 13th, July 27th, and August 10th to read a special story and have a snack and a craft. So our theme this year is kind of, we're not doing what everybody else is doing. We're just kind of doing water, lakes, and local. Because it's just kind of how things have worked out. And then we have another local author visiting on July 20th. We had one here on Friday, Andrew Valencia, and we had some light attendance, but he's a very bright young man, and I hope maybe we can do it again and he'll get a little better turnout. We have a June calendar out that can be shared. I delivered some to the school today that hopefully will get out. And the July calendar will be out soon, and Painting with Patrice in August. Building and grounds, bid requests went on May 29th. The town of Lake Luzerne is inventorying water line materials. They have reached back to me. I'm still waiting to find out exactly when they're gonna come and see what ours is. And I don't know if you want me to read all the rest of that, because it's all the same thing that I do every week.
Yeah.
Every month, and then the other concerns are pretty much the same, yep. And some of those might help out with the building project. We do need a handyman. The other thing I'm concerned, I would love ideas. I've been trying to think, the black box at the top of the handicap ramp is currently blocked by trash cans. I'm not quite sure where to put the other trash cans, but I think the whole purpose of that is so that people who can't do stairs can drop their books off, and right now it's not accessible.
Mhm.
And I really would like to change that. I don't know, that's part of my issue, so I'm hoping for, it's another concern that I'm hoping we can figure out sooner than later.
Couple of quick questions about the programming.
Sure.
it would probably be helpful in the future to put cost. I think that's really interesting, to have cost of each event.
Okay, so far, everything has been free.
Sweet.
The one on the
So
20.
the blank there, that designates 0, I like that, very good.
Well, yeah,
But like the one that you have, that you mentioned was like 655 or something, right?
the whitewater rafting, that one is, I think it's
No,
605.
That's the animal adventure author,
Yes, that's the raccoons.
65.
Yeah, but that includes, kits for the craft that she's gonna be doing. And that's for up to 35 kids. And if we have less than that, she will leave those kits, and we can use them for another program or for make and take, they can make crafts.
Okay.
And Andrew Torino is basically free. He's only asking that we cover the cost of his materials, and he's gonna submit a receipt. At last, I think they said it was gonna be somewhere between $400 and $500, but he said he would be able to give us up to 5 more programs for that same money. So I saw that as a pretty good deal.
Okay. Yeah, I think at least for me, it's really helpful information. And then,
Okay.
I don't see anything on here about cooperation with Hadley Youth.
Well, because we have not been able to come up with, an agreement yet. She came to see me and she's emailed me.
She is Jean.
Jean, yep, she would, like the library to pay for programming and have the programming at Hadley Park. Apparently that was done last year, and we had a youth services director, Amanda, who was able to go down. We do not have that this year. I did mention it, to the other three here at our budget meeting, just to get some feedback, and the consensus has been if we can't even be there as a representative, then we didn't think we wanted to pay for programming that we had zero control over, because nobody can be there as a representative.
One of the board members probably could, something like that,
So,
right?
well,
Are you free?
I could, I would make sure that, it's been so successful in the past that I would. Do you
Okay.
think I'm not free? Do you know my schedule? I wonder where
That's why
that
I
comment
asked.
came from.
Excuse me,
That's
we don't
an
need
odd
this
thing to
exchange.
say.
Okay.
Excuse
It's an
me,
absolutely odd thing to say.
we do not need this exchange, thank you. Go ahead.
I would be happy to discuss that with you, but what I've told her so far is what I know is that Claire and I cannot be off-site because we need 2 people in the library at all times. I have suggested that the programming happen here and that we have activities in the backyard and giving the kids extra access to the entire library instead of just the few books that go to them. I have devised a plan because I'm a little nervous because, you come into the library, you check out a book, I hand it to you.
Mhm.
She's proposing having a teenager come in and grab a collection of books and take them down to the park. So Claire and I come up with a plan to do a spreadsheet that would have the title and the barcode of all the books, to have them signed out to Jean. And then when they bring it back every Tuesday, I would check in every book. And then if the books that were signed out to another student, those books would roll over to that child. But to start with, we've got to make sure everybody has a library card.
All those, the children.
All the children, yes. And that's been our email exchange thus far. So, if the board feels strongly a different way, to go ahead, she's got 3 different
It
programs.
seems like and that sounds like an illegal meeting to me. 3 board members having a
Well, I was
conversation
just
about,
asking.
making a decision
no,
about,
it
about
wasn't
the
We didn't make it.
program.
I
That's
was
not good.
just asking for feedback because I had.
That does sound like
no
an illegal meeting.
It
If
was
you
not
look at the
an
law,
illegal
that
meeting.
certainly sounds like an illegal
It was
meeting.
not.
So,
It's a huge mess because it's brought a lot of traffic to the library. So extending ourselves and trying whatever we possibly could is probably a good,
definitely trying to do as much as I can. I never count on you guys being able to do that because you guys volunteer your time. And so I never plan on you guys being available to cover things. I try to do things with the staff that I have, which is right now Claire and I.
and I completely understand. the
And
difficulty
the other point to that is because we are still in budget meetings, we still don't know for sure what my programming budget is going to be this year. And I don't have all the details on one of the programs that she wants, that it's $500 plus travel expenses. But we don't know what the travel expenses are. And then the other two, she's got two other programs. It's a total of about $900, possibly $1,000 by the time we get done with traveling expenses
You're
for
saying
3 programs.
cooperating with,
With that, yes, but
are they proposing covering any of the expenses?
to my understanding, they expect us to cover the programming completely, but have it at Hadley Park. And like I said, I suggested they have it here, set up games and stuff in the backyard. The kids could have full access to the library. She says, no, can't do it.
I do understand her point. We have a river right here and they have a better facility there.
Oh, that wasn't her, her excuse was, not all kids are interested in the programming and she doesn't have enough staff to divide them. I'm like, and I understand that. And the cold, harsh reality is it may not be able to be like it was last year.
Mhm.
And I'm trying my best to be as accommodating as I can. I'm not just dismissing her. I can't say yes to something if I can't, I really feel like somebody from the library should be there, because how else is it really a library program if nobody from the library is there?
It's a valid point. I completely understand.
And I have a question too. The youth commission has a budget as well.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is. She has not disclosed
I don't
that.
know what it is either, but if, if the program does, is able to move forward, I'm wondering if there's not a way that the expense can be shared by the youth commission and the library. I'm not sure why the library has to pay for the whole thing.
I'm not
Since,
sure.
since they have a budget.
All I know is that's what was, I just keep being told this is what it was
Yeah, no,
last
I'm
year.
just, yeah. it's just a
And the only
thought.
person that was here last year that's here this year is Claire. And I guess I know that it worked very well, but like I said, she came to see me, it was last Tuesday, I think. She finally came to see me and I'm kind of like, you should have come to see me a month ago. We could have been, programming starts, I think it's July 9th. So we're kind of crunch time. I would have liked a longer lead time to work this out. I've just been trying to work it out to the best of my ability with the resources that I have here in my hands.
So what do we expect? The resolution of this is the.
I don't know. I hope she said she wants to meet with me again. I've
Do
continued.
you know dates of when the Hadley Park?
It starts July 9th. I don't have my notes in front of me. It's only like 4 weeks. It's the same as.
But like once a week or?
Oh, no, they're 4 or 5 days a week. Because I know kids go from Summer Success to the park. I don't know her exact hours.
The programs that we
Oh, the
would pay
programs
for. Yeah,
that she wants us to pay
because
for?
if Josh is gonna be there, he would need a date.
Oh, yes, I do have
That's
it
all I
written down on my calendar in my office. Do you need me to go get that now or?
But it sounds like you guys made the decision we're not gonna participate, right?
No,
I didn't make a decision.
We're not gonna
We didn't make any decision. Josh, she asked us, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
She said that you made a decision,
No,
right?
We made no decision.
We didn't make a decision.
I asked for their
It was kinda like-
opinion about whether or not we should have a library program off-site without library representation.
And you acted on,
And the
Their opinion.
consensus
that's a decision.
is no.
Well, But there, no
But-
no final decision
No
has been
final
made. She kind
decision
of
has
asked
been
what our
made.
gut feeling was.
And I've been trying to talk with her and come up with something that works. I personally feel very uncomfortable having a program running when there's nobody here from the library to observe it and see exactly what the content is. It's not programming that I've chosen. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying I don't know much about it. And the one is $500 plus travel expenses. And I can't get a straight answer as to what those travel expenses are. The other programs are from the Glens Falls. There's a museum in Glens Falls. They're gonna come and talk about crafts and clothing and culture from different countries, because her theme is different countries and the Olympics and all that kind of thing. And those programs are $195 each, and she wants 2 of them. And I think one is like July 30th, and then there's 2, and I think in August. So I figure with traveling expenses, we're looking at $1,000. That's a big chunk. And I don't know what our budget's gonna be. So there's just a lot of unknowns, and I'm trying to work with her to the best of my ability. I don't want to burn a bridge. I want to work with her.
That's what I'm asking for.
I'm trying. But to me, when there's a compromise, there's give and take on both sides. And so far, our email seems to be, she wants it done a certain way, and then that's it. So, I thought for Claire and I to come up with a spreadsheet, that's a lot of work on our part to come up with that, to write out to get barcodes and everything in place. That's a lot of work on our end. And then she said she usually gets 80 to 110 kids sign up. We've got to verify that they all have library cards. It's just, I mean, it's not hard work, it's just tedious work, but we're happy to do that. And I honestly thought having them come for those programs here and getting to come into the library and experience the library as a whole was a worthwhile venture, but
I think last year though, the amount of kids that participated and were brought to the library were like 99% of the youth group.
Yeah.
So they were brought in, they were introduced to books, they were introduced to library cards.
when did they
Where
come in?
One student was from the libraries club, so it was just a great opportunity to bring people in that wouldn't typically be here, to expand the
I'm,
horizon for them and
I'm all-
open that opportunity up.
yeah, I'm all for that, Josh, I really am, but from what I'm gathering from Jean, everything's happening at Hadley Park, they're not coming into the library. So that's why I was thinking of the programming here, then but the understanding that I'm under is that Amanda went there and everything happened at Hadley Park, not here at all. So I'm
The
not sure.
program that I saw did happen at the park, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously our objective is to get kids in here to see what we have.
Mhm.
So, no, I'm we're trying to figure it out. Again, I gotta know what our programming budget is,
Right.
When is the date by which you have to make a decision?
that I am unclear on.
Okay,
Like I said, she came to see me last Tuesday. She's been telling me since March that she's gonna talk to me, and it's late in the game, but I'm still doing my best to cooperate as best we can with the, I mean, we're kind of doing it with our hands tied behind our back.
keep us informed.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So,
All of us.
I take it you
Not
feel,
just three.
I take it wasn't intentional like that, Josh. I just, I'm assuming you feel very differently about having programming paid for by the library offsite library property.
No, I was never brought in on the conversation to be able to be a part of it.
Josh, if I could just share, we were in a budget meeting that was open to everyone. We weren't there, and that was fine. It was a casual conversation about budgets and it just came up in our conversation. We didn't make a vote.
And no
Promise.
decision was
There
taken.
was no vote, no decision. It was just a conversation in a budget meeting that was open. So it was no illegal meeting. There was no decision. We wouldn't have done that, and we didn't do that.
All right, well, keep us informed, okay? And we'll move forward from there. Anything else? We're good. Okay. We have one committee report. Anything from the strategic planning committee?
Okay, our meetings have been productive and fun. I think the group is working hard and doing a good job. We set, our date is actually tomorrow, right? There's a deadline for surveys.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
is the last day,
It
yep.
was the 19th. So we have been meeting every 2 weeks. We decided to wait another week out because by then the data would be in. So the next meeting will be kind of collating that data and looking at what the surveys are telling us, what people's concerns and preferences are. And then we'll collate all of that jazz. And then the next step will be actually writing the document, deciding on the format of the document. There are a couple of ways it can be written. I'll be presenting a few different ways and let the team decide, the committee decide which one they think is most, well, actually, from my point of view, the easiest to read and follow is the best format. We have a couple of ideas for that. So
When's the date of our next meeting?
And when's the next meeting?
the 26th,
Okay,
26, yeah,
yeah, the 26th.
6:26.
at 6.
which is also the last day of school.
Okay.
And so that's really, that's it. The surveys have gone out. We've met, we've gotten them to gobs and gobs and gobs of constituent groups and
We've had more than 70 online responses.
It's 122, as
That is the
Including-
aggregate of all the responses we've got.
That's right.
A total of 122 survey responses.
Okay, and we also, as I said, held 2 focus groups where we had, I think each one had 6 people come in, but I thought it was a good conversation.
7 in the second one.
So,
Are there more focus groups planned? No. Okay.
no, we wanted to have 2 before the before the deadline, for the survey
The
deadline.
19th.
Yeah, and we wanted to have them at different times. So we had one on Saturday afternoon and one on a Wednesday
Wednesday evening,
evening,
yeah.
so that we could try to get people with different schedules.
Any questions? Okay, moving on to old business. First item was the financial policy rewrite. I provided that document to Robert. I believe we agreed we wanted him to review any financial policies or other policies, and he has not done it. So I guess we have to postpone that to our next meeting, but I've all seen that, and he is looking at it from a legal perspective. Second item of old business we discussed last time, a little more data on library hours change. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, and nothing really has changed. I mean, we've seen a slight uptick, but that was the night we had the focus group. So I don't know how much we want to count. It still counts for about 3%, did you say, Claire? I think for our, I mean, if we have 3 people after 6 o'clock, we've had a rush.
And so what,
And we've had some figures like, really, you're on till 8 o'clock? That seems really late. I'm like,
what is your proposal?
my proposal is to be open Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then leave Saturday alone at 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. That is 38 hours of scheduled open time, but that gives 2 hours to like cover these meetings. For Claire and I to continue work on getting things out of the basement, organizing stuff upstairs, rearranging things within the library. Trust me, we have no problem getting 40 hours a week, and it's harder to keep it to 40.
Will the 2 hours so that's 38 hours. So each of you will be working in 2 hours in addition to the schedule.
Sometimes
To
it'll
the
be,
open,
yes,
but that's a flexible thing, like it doesn't have to be the same time of day, same day, or
No.
you'll build it into the schedule yourself as
Yes.
to where you need it.
yes,
Okay, but you'll both still have the 40 hours.
yes. And sometimes maybe I'll come in and she won't, but other times we'll be in together depending on what the task
Okay.
requires, if it's a single person or a 2-person job.
Are you gonna consider the library meeting one of those hours automatically? Okay.
Yes, that will
The
save the
board.
library money
Right.
in overtime.
Okay. So we need board action to approve a change in hours. All right,
I believe so.
we do.
I
tell
believe you.
We do.
I make the motion.
Change to what she proposed?
Yes.
Okay, and second?
I'll second.
Second? All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, done. And you will do the appropriate announcements and put nice on Facebook, and put signs in the window, make sure everybody
Right,
knows.
I'll get new
This is-
brochures.
So is this
Yeah,
effective?
we need brochures, the whole 9
My
yards.
one question, do we want to make this effective next week, or would you like to start it July 1st?
I think July 1st is probably good.
That's
Just
a good-
give people a heads up, maybe even print it
Yeah,
and say, hey, our hours are changing. And when someone takes a book, give them a heads up
Yeah.
about it.
Okay,
Effective 7/1. Okay, good. Other item of old business was the credit card issue, continuing discussion. I think I covered that in the president's report. It's clear. We did a little bit of research, folks, and determined that there are libraries who have credit cards. And some of them are school district libraries, just like us. And the consensus of opinion was that they're breaking the law.
Well, what do we need to do to get a P card? get a
That's
card?
something we have to look into. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, but that is okay. Purchasing card that you pay, the
So there'll be
way
no debt.
Robert described it to me, the purchasing card that you pay off absolutely every month is okay. You may not carry debt according to the constitutional rules, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
So
I
that's
mean,
one.
I'll be
we'll
happy to
into.
look into,
Want to look into that?
yeah, I'll look into
All
that.
right, Maggie? All right, good. And we'll see, and then when we get a finance committee, they can finalize that. Any other questions on that issue? Are we okay? Okay. Moving to new business, okay. We're going to move into the new fiscal year, and Robert has agreed to come here to our meeting, and we will declare a special organizational meeting for the 2nd of July. That's the first Tuesday in July, where we will do all the things that are necessary to create the new organization. We have to elect officers. We have to take the
Swear
oaths of,
in new board
oaths of
members.
office, elect the officers. We need to appoint a treasurer. We need to establish committees, and we need to adopt a budget. And if you look at the calendar for July, August, if we meet for this special operation or special organizational meeting, it would only be 2 weeks until the next Tuesday. And I'm proposing that we move that to the 23rd, and that puts us back on schedule for every 3 weeks after that. So, and we have the other thing I discussed with Robert, we have the ability to change dates and times of meetings. I mean, that's up to the board. But it would seem to make sense to get our newest members who've been elected sworn in and on the board as soon as possible. So is there any problem with any of our board members making a meeting? I will call that as a special organizational meeting for the 2nd of July. That's a Tuesday. Anybody got any problem with that?
It's fine with me.
Okay.
What are new people?
Folks that are coming,
I have 3 different family groups coming in from the 1st to the 3rd. I don't have anything, I guess I'll just.
it'll be a fairly quick meeting.
Okay.
They can
Okay.
come too.
It'll be fairly quick. They can come.
Just let us know how many chairs we
See
can
you, see you
have.
sworn in, yeah.
Does that
You
work?
okay with that?
So is that
What about you, Jeff?
6:30?
Okay with
Yeah.
that?
It seems to be.
All
Is
right.
that at 6:30, Ted?
So, yeah, we'll schedule that for 6:30 on the 2nd. That will be the special meeting for organizational purposes. I will prepare an agenda for that and circulate it to everybody, make sure everybody's on board. Then we'll move our regular July meeting from the previous Tuesday to this 23rd, okay? Now, not knowing how much business we may have for that meeting, we can have Romolia and the auditors either appear on the 23rd of July or in the August regular meeting. I think it depends on how much business it looks like we have for the 23rd. Does that make sense? So can you give me that leeway to kind of look at what's coming up and decide, and then I'll communicate to everyone what we want to do, whether we have Grimolia here. They've agreed to come. They're going to present the operational audit results. They're going to discuss it with us, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, and I have a from Robert, our attorney, to attend on the 2nd of July. He will swear people in. We'll do our business that we just discussed. And then he will remain afterwards for an executive session if we have anything that the board wishes to discuss that is not a public issue. So if you have suggestions or anything else from that perspective, let me know. And then we can schedule an executive session for that night as well. But I expect it to be a fairly quick meeting.
Ted, is the organizational meeting an open meeting?
The organization
meeting,
meeting is
yeah.
absolutely, all meetings are open meetings, yes, absolutely. And we will post those
Just clarifying.
once we decide. Yeah, we'll post those, so not a problem. Okay, so I don't think we need, do you have a question? Sure,
When you move, so there's 2 meetings in July, the 2nd, the 23rd.
correct.
And then if after that in August, it would go back to the regularly.
Third
Third
Tuesday,
Tuesday of every month.
third Tuesday, 6:30. Right, correct. Okay, understand? Yep. Okay, I don't think we need a vote to do that.
No, I
we'll
think it
do
just, as long as everyone's schedule's cleared, does that?
Well,
work for
we
you,
can vote
Josh,
on it if you
23rd?
want. I think it's, we
I
agree.
think we're good.
That's gonna work.
Josh,
Okay.
23rd works for you?
I think so.
Okay,
We're good.
next item on the new business was the maintenance bids.
We have one so far. It was published in the Chronicle on June 6th. We published it on our website and on our Facebook page on May 29th, I believe it was. Oh, hang on, I got it in my notes here.
Was it one
Yes.
person for all 3?
Well, I believe it's just for groundskeeper.
Mhm.
Because the deal was that they were to be sealed and marked as such. Colin has approached me, said he had a couple people that were looking for it. I guess they missed it in the Chronicle that they wanted to, so I don't know, do we want to move ahead with one? Or if we want to redo this and extend it for a little longer?
Well, that's.
I mean, it's just,
I think we
Green
should.
Acres is done at June 30th. They're done.
Is there anything that would keep us or anybody from contacting folks who do this and say, hey, just to make sure that they know there's a bid?
No,
I think that's what we should do.
I
Yeah.
think that's what we should do too.
Everybody,
is
yes.
Just reach out and find some people who do the work and just make sure they're aware that
Make sure
there's a
that-
bidding
bids out there.
process
Okay,
going
so
on.
do we want to set a new deadline? Do you want another newspaper article, or do we just want to kind of do this, making phone calls?
It's possible that we have to do another article because of the fact that the deadline's changing, but,
Okay,
we should look into that. But we should definitely move the deadline so we can have a
Yeah.
conversation with people. These personal relationships can develop into, someone being willing to put in a bid and maybe give us a better price, that kind of
for
thing.
sure.
yeah,
Just-
well, I haven't looked at it because it's sales, the bid disclosure was. that we
Right, for
would
sure,
look at
and you
them.
should, because it's gonna be a part of the bidding process and we
Right, and
wanna
that we're
keep this
gonna do that
integrity, right?
in executive session, and that price was not gonna be the only deciding factor that.
Right.
So what do you think is a reasonable date to extend?
I
to?
think we need to move it because that grass is growing.
Well, I know, but I mean, what's
I'm just
reasonable,
saying.
what's
you know.
reasonable to give people an opportunity? This is 18th of June. Colin, did you have?
What
some-
was the cutoff line? The end of this month, is that right? For applications for the lawn care?
For the bids was
Yes.
today at 3 o'clock.
Today.
Oh, what's today? All right, I was.
Yes.
I should the end of the month. Okay, thank you.
So.
I don't know
so
how
should
that
we-
was too.
But Green Acres is done on the 30th. Well, we did it for today, so we would have it for
I mean,
the meeting.
Meeting, yeah.
And,
1 week's not gonna be a big deal. Let's put it to the 30th and, if the lawn is high for 1 week, we can get some goats or something.
I got some goats.
Yeah, extend to 6:30.
right, well, I do know
6:30.
that, the owner of Green Acres came in and he wanted to let me know that he would not be putting in a
That's
Great.
fine. That's
bid,
fine.
so
Did you get a bid from the people that I referred you to? You don't know? Okay.
I don't.
All right, well, 6:30, let's do advertise, call, beat the bushes.
Okay, so you want me
what
to
we
do
need
another bid in the
Yeah.
Chronicle? Do
I
we
think
want
we
it in the
should.
Post-Star as well this time, or?
I would just do one,
Yeah,
Just in the Chronicle.
Yeah,
just
Chronicle.
to save.
Chronicle.
Okay, and then we'll have it on our website and on the Facebook page again.
Okay,
And do you know people that you might be able to call?
Yeah, I mean, we should get together and figure out who we're gonna call and make sure we're not
So we only-
double.
right.
Yeah.
No, and the one person that you had mentioned to me before, Ted, that we actually reached out to her and called her and let her know, and we've not heard from
good
her.
enough.
No.
Okay, well, okay, so, I mean, you can't, you can't force them to make a
Right,
bid.
what day of the week is the 30th?
Oh, I don't
Josh
know.
has a calendar up.
I'm sorry, it's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
then.
you wanna do it on the Tuesday, the 2nd of July? Are you looking for the library to be open on that?
Well,
final
yeah,
day?
because we want them
So-
to bring them here.
So do July 2nd.
And then that's our.
All right, 17,
Okay,
all right. Okay,
so it'll be a cutoff probably like 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so I can go run to the office and
okay,
check.
okay. Anything else? on that one? Good, okay. Next item is appointment of Claire Connolly. We do, again, in my report, speaking with Robert, we do not need to have a complete letter of terms, conditions, et cetera, in order to make this appointment, and we can fill that in afterwards. So this board is in a position to arrange that. If you want to move to executive session to discuss that, we will. Otherwise, we would just make a motion to appoint Claire.
I would make a motion to appoint.
Before there's a second, can I have one question? In other comments about the appointment, which is a good thing, I've heard the word permanent, to permanently appoint, and I'm not sure what that means, and I'm not sure we want to use that.
Well,
It
Claire is
speaks to
conditional,
tenure.
Claire is conditional at the moment because she hadn't passed
Correct,
the thing. So this appointment is still at our discretion.
But it's not a
And we
conditional
have
appointment
full
anymore.
discussion in terms of this. Okay?
okay.
All right, so you still want to make that motion?
Yes,
Yes.
Civil service.
You have a
actually
second for that?
permanent.
yes,
Okay.
Anybody?
as opposed to conditional.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I
Yes.
will second that.
Okay.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
I-
No,
Opposed? Okay, and
Okay, Carrie.
I guess, how do we,
He's absent.
just
I
absent.
guess he's just absent, yeah, okay. Welcome. Okay, last item on the new business chart is approving the new hire. And you have gotten some information from civil service about this appointment. You're looking for
I haven't, civil services telling, she said she was gonna, she asked me for times and dates that she could call me, and I gave her all the hours that we were open from Tuesday through Saturday. They are not open as long as we are. Erica sent me some examples of things that I would be looking for, so I have it could possibly be the ad to go out for what we're looking for. I've revised it. I've not yet sent that to Erica for an additional look. But said she was gonna get back to me this week as well. I'm assuming at this point it'll be Thursday. Same with Candy. Candy seemed to think that there was not a civil service term for a youth services library assistant. I was kind of confused on that. So I asked her if our previous employees, Amanda and Sheila, if they had ever sat for an exam. Claire didn't know, so I've asked Candy, because that's what they did, was they were the youth services
The Candy you're referring to is Candy Plumley.
from.
She has
civil
taken
services,
over
yes.
from Trish
Yes.
Manager.
Yeah,
She's the civil service contact for
Yeah.
us in terms of that thing, so.
yeah.
And it was my understanding that this position is not going to be a competitive position, and that you're able to, I mean, you'll find out for sure.
Well, yeah,
All right, so
so,
can we shoot for having this wrapped up by the time we do our organizational meeting in a second?
from your lips to God's ears, I would love that.
Can I ask a question? For
I
the,
didn't know I had that kind of connection, but,
There was a little prayer on my part.
okay.
for the ad, you would run this short section here, and then you'd say that you'd refer them to the website for the full, information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
But
and also, when I was researching the, ad costs for our budget committee, the PostStar has, I think it's like, I don't know, for the price of an ad, for an ad in the paper for the PostStar, it's only 3 days a week, but it also runs 3 days online, and it also hits all of the job sites like Indeed and Monster.com and all of those. So it seems like it's a really good, it's a very broad ad, so that might be a good thing to look into.
what was the cost? Oh, you don't remember, that's all right.
It's different for, I didn't bring them
That's
with
all
me,
right.
it's in my
That's
budget.
But yeah, no,
They're-
we
it's
put the
different.
So
name-
do just the post-star this time? We were saying maybe just do it in one.
You know, I
That's
actually
Well,
do
we're talking putting the bid in the Chronicle and putting the
the
job offering in the
Yeah.
in the
Star.
PostStar.
Okay,
It depends on the size of the ad, and we could take out a small display ad, or we could take out a classified ad, and the number of
well,
lines.
use your judgment on that one, whatever makes sense.
Okay.
And let's,
Yeah, I
let's see if we
have
can't-
have them in my phone.
let's see if we can't wrap this up. We can do that as one item of business on our organizational meeting on the 2nd. And then approve that hire, not necessarily the individual, but the fact that you're gonna do it.
Right, understood.
Okay?
Mhm.
All right. Okay with that, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay,
You're gonna approve in the organizational meeting that she can hire someone?
yeah, in order to make the hire.
Well, we can
approve that right now.
We will need to know who it is and what the hours are and what the description is. et
Oh,
cetera.
you're saying the individual will be selected and we'll have the vote with that?
Yes,
Okay.
when the time comes.
I think that's
Does that make sense?
very ambitious that we would be hired,
I don't think
that
I'm
we
gonna
would be
have-
able to hire
I doubt I'm
somebody.
gonna
by
have
then.
a specific person by July 2nd.
I
That would be wonderful.
That would be wonderful.
But what I believe he's doing is this will be finalized with both sales and civil service.
Or the description would be.
The description.
Yes.
Oh, I
And
see.
then move forward on that. Okay, and that'll help us with the budget.
Was that
budget
accurate,
work.
what you were thinking? for the
Yes.
second? Okay.
Okay, good with that?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And new business, we added to the agenda at this point, Rosemarie wanted to make a
I
comment.
just wanted to say something very briefly, if I could, so, to let folks know that while this is my last board meeting as a trustee, I am on duty until June 30th and fully committed to the library's business through that date. Once the new trustees are sworn in and the new board convenes, I will be sure to make myself available to help the VP of Finance learn the ropes, so to speak, if that's necessary, important, or wanted. In the meantime, I'll still be busy chairing the strategic planning committee until we have our document completed. And in addition, I hope our manager will call on me if ever I can be of assistance. It has been a pleasure to work with Ted and Maggie, and this is a good time to express my respect and admiration for Ted's leadership as president of the board. We just could not have chosen a better person for the job. And I'm fairly certain we would not have accomplished all we have without him at the helm. And just best of luck to all of you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And thank you for
Thank you.
everything you've done for this
Yeah,
board.
absolutely.
Because getting the finances back in order was an enormous
Key,
task.
absolutely key to moving
But then the
forward.
only thing that was bigger
And
than the
anybody-
organizing file.
I will just say, anybody that steps in to take over in VP Finance will have a much, much, much easier time
Yeah,
than Rosemary had
that's what we did.
in doing it. No question about it. I'm looking at you. Okay. Public comment. We have an opportunity for public comment. Please come forward. Tell us who you are, what you'd like to say, if there is anything that you have to say. Please.
Well, in Parsons, Lake, Missouri, I just want to thank Rosemary for all that you've done. It's been so helpful the way you present the financial reports and consider not only the board and your impact on them, but the rest of us who come to hopefully support you. And so thank you so much for all you've done for us.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we had on the agenda an executive session is needed. I don't think we have anything to go into executive.
Try to work on that and put something out there and you can send it to the lawyer for review.
Okay, I'm gonna put out a, kind of a semi-agenda for the organizational meeting. There are several committees that I will want to appoint. And one of them that I'm thinking about, just everybody can think about it. I'm not committed, but I think we need a policy committee. We gotta straighten out things. If you look at our website, the policies are kind of helter-skelter. They're not alphabetical. We don't have all the dates that they were adopted. They have different headers. I'm not sure we have enough, all the right policies, so I think it's a great idea, and I think we need to get our arms around the policies we should have. And we can get a little committee together to do that and move forward with those, and I'm writing that down. That's sort of a social
Yeah, social media
policy, yeah,
policy.
actually. Okay, good, thank you. Okay, any other things for the good of the order? Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting. Everybody wants to say.
I wanna say.
You're having so much fun.
I so move.
So, second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much, folks. All right, second, I'll make sure that I send out by email what the agenda is for the second, and then subsequently the 23rd. So we're good to go. All right, thank you much. Okay, we beat the